Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Tetcher, and welcome to my casting of the Heroes Global Championship EU Qualifier number 1. Now, I'm going to waste any time because we did miss the draft ever so slightly, but the first game we're going to be jumping into in the qualifier bracket with semi-finalists, I believe, of this tournament make their way into the new 2017 league, which is going to be pretty beastly, and we're going to be starting off with Team Liquid versus Inaequalis. So right now, lobby is being made. I'm going to make sure that I get into that second it is ready, but let's have a quick look at the draft, make sure that we understand that and we have analysed it. Liquid starting off with fairly standard bans, getting rid of the Lost Vikings, Inaequalis responding fairly in kind with the Samuro. So neither teams want to really deal with that just over map presence and that just multiple heroes. Liquid would have been able to deal with it a little bit better with that false start pickup, but decided against it. Don't want to deal with that. Lobby has just materialized to me, so I will jump into that. But I'll talk you through this until we are ready. So basically, right now, Liquid has a lot of global. They have the Brightwing and the Falstad. They're able to get a lot of general map presence. They have very strong frontline. The Muradin and the Tyrell should be able to protect that Gul'dan fairly easily. So right now the sustain looks good. However, the wildcard in this, that ETC with either the potential stage dive so that they get to get the global as well, or we have the potential mosh pit, which is of course going to get a huge amount of value if they can catch the correct person in it, if they can grab Muradin and probably Falstad as well. Gul'dan, hopefully if they can get it after his Terrify or after Mighty Gust, then they can probably get some good work. Actually, no, pretty much everyone on Liquid is able to interrupt this somehow. So that's going to be difficult for Mosh Pit, so it's almost definitely going to be Stage Dive. But Zeratul and Jada especially, the Void Prism into the Ring of Frost, they have that potential wombo combo, they have some good work. Not really understanding the Murky Ban, but fair enough, it's all good, and we are playing on Towers of Doom. So the map control in terms of the objectives is going to be pretty worth here. So we'll see how well that works out for them. And have I got my teams the right way around? Of course I haven't. So I'm going to sort that very quickly. We'll leave the draft screen up here. Yep, let's just change those around because of course it's never going to be right because the teams always have to change everything. Okay, this is the joy of solo casting. I will cut out stuff eventually if I need to, but overall I want to try and make it just as natural a cast as possible for when I actually have to stream. But it's nice being back in the casting chair, and it feels very, very good. Although now I have to cough, and it's really awkward. 1 second. Ah, the mic mute button. The second I remember where it is immensely useful. So yeah, overall, I would give the draft to Liquid. Their damage in terms of Falstad and Gul'dan is very strong. Falstad with a huge amount of survivability, and of course Gul'dan with that fear is going to ruin Zeratul Brightwing as well. Can just go for the cooldown reduction on the teleport and the teleport itself to basically have some fun that way. So it's going to be very difficult for Inaequalis to really do a huge amount here. So looks like we're getting ready to head in here. Remember, guys, the current Nexus challenge is going on. So now is as good a time as ever to pick up Heroes of the Storm, where basically you can play a game with a friend, just anyone on your friends list, and if you play 15 games, then you're going to be getting a portrait and I believe a Genji skin, or something. No, I think it's an in-game portrait for Heroes of the Storm. But if you complete 30 games, then you're getting a in-game Genji skin for Overwatch, and you're also getting multiple heroes, a lot of the ones you are seeing here, for Heroes of the Storm, and a new mount. Now is the best time ever to pick up Heroes of the Storm. So if you want to do that, then literally just jump on, add a friend, and play some games. It's pretty good and pretty helpful. Right now, players are just readying up, and then we'll be jumping in. So we will quickly jump back to the draft screen to give you one last look at it while we wait for the last players to ready up, which looks like they nearly are. Countdown will be beginning very shortly, and we will be getting into our first game. Games are best out of 3 here. There you go, you can hear that countdown. Games are best out of 3. So, first team to get to that magical number of victories is going to be all good. And then we shall move on to our next round, which I'm going to attempt to cast Damascus Boys, which is going to be Alex the Pro G's team, assuming they win their first round game. But that's who we're going to attempt to cast in the next round. So because these are only for YouTube, you'll be able to see that tomorrow. So if you want to see my casting of Damascus Boys, or whoever beat them in this particular case, then come back tomorrow and you'll be able to see that cast then. Loading bar, making its way across. Sorry, I had to cough again there. I appear to be a little bit ill, but the casting is something I'm going to do whether I am ill or whether I am well. There we go, that's a loading bar that is moving across. I've got my team names the right way around. Everything is awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Towers of Doom. And let's jump right into this because, 1 second, my bloody recording stuff's in the way. Spawning on the right-hand side today, in the orange trunks or the red trunks, it is going to be Team Liquid. And playing for them, it is going to be Sport Billy playing the Falstad, Shad playing the Tyrael, Gildenherd playing the Brightwing, Ziku playing the Muradin, and it is going to be Pollock playing the Gul'dan. Whereas on the on the left-hand side, in the blue trunks, it is going to be Inaequalis, who are already taking a little bit of harassment here. But we have Blackjack playing Zeratul, Jillian playing EDC, IDDQD playing the Jada, and Darth Tyrael, which is a great name, playing that Malfurion. This is going to be game number 1 of the Heroes Global Championship qualifier for the European region. And I am going to be Tetcher, I will be casting for you. So starting off, neither team committing to that overly aggressive first blood in the middle of the map. But we see some harassment coming out from Inaequalis, trying to catch Ziku. I assume that's how you pronounce it. Trying to catch out Ziku, and also trying to catch out Sport Billy, but Sport Billy was able to roll away, and Ziku was able to dwarf toss out. So neither team getting too much here. Let's have a look at the... Oh, hang on. We won't have a look at the talents, because we're going to see maybe a first blood happening here. Yes, we will. And we're going to assume that that is going to be a Gathering Storm for Falstad there. So Falstad already going to be working his way through the stacks. We can already see he's only hit 1 hero, apparently. I thought the returning hammer would have gotten the stack as well. But either way, he's building his stacks up and is starting to get the damage. EPC is going for the Frog Rock here. Oh my god, Sport Billy again! Aggressive! Second blood immediately! 2 kills to 0 coming out of Team Liquid. That aggressive Falstad play with that barrel roll proving to be very, very effective right now. And we missed calling out iMac on the Valor because he was hidden in the top lane at the start of the game. But some of the other talents we can see here, we're not going with the reduced cooldown reduction on the Blink for Brightwing, instead going with the Unfurling Spray, so she may not even be relying on Peekaboo to keep an eye on this Zeratul. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Darth Tyrael looking to try and interrupt Sport Billy, but Shad zoning that out quite nicely. He's going to try and do it one more time. Body blocks. He gets it. Doesn't get the interrupt. Very nice there. We see Jillian, though, going quite deep, getting Ziku and Shad there, but they're not able to interrupt it. So overall, we do see both, we see 2 out of the 3 objectives picked up by Team Liquid. They were able to grab the ones lower down on the map and were able to prevent the Malfurion interrupt onto their own. They decided not to play aggressive though and trying to steal Inaequalis close objective. That would have been very risky, but you sometimes see teams going for it because they think it is worth the risk. On the other talents, this Team Liquid have hit level 4 thanks to those early kills. Ooh, Ziku, get out of there. He's on the move. He looks like he's going to get out here. They're not going too aggressive. He comes in. He goes straight for that Malfurion here. Falstad tries to follow up. There's too many heroes here. Not able to go deep enough. Brightwing did, in fact, go for the Peekaboo, so she's going to be using that. The deal is Zeratul just has to be very careful about how many times and where she uses it, due to the fact that if she goes too aggressive with it, then she's not going to have it up for when they seriously need it. Due to the fact she didn't take the cooldown reduction on the teleport. Instead, just making sure that she can keep her team healed and healthy at all times. Tyrael with Horadic Reforging and Purge Evil, so a little bit of damage and being able to spam that Q out allows him to harass, allows him to deny. Works out quite nicely for him. And Muradin going with that Thunderbird as opposed to the crowd control we see sometimes. Makes a lot of sense. We can see a very heavy front line and a very mobile back line in the form of Valor. Jaina is pretty much the only one you're going to consistently catch. Fury maybe as well, but even then you're putting yourself in range of the Twilight Dream. So you need to be careful with that and not get yourself caught out. So he's jumping his way to freedom, making sure he does not get caught out again. And the objectives, spawning double in the top lane. Shad already, once again, positioned as he was earlier to try and interrupt. This time, the Malfurion's not taking that risk. It was Blackjack or Jillian who were thinking about it. But it looks like we may just see an even trade again, which Liquid can afford to keep doing. Although Blackjack tried to be sneaky, revealed by Shad, and has been forced to retreat. And with that, Sport Belly will easily be able to turn this in, because no one's going to try and interrupt him. Once again, Team Liquid not playing aggressive onto the enemy officer at all. They do play aggressive on the map, trying to keep map control and slowing down the rotations coming from Inaequalis here. And in fact, they're actually going to try and grab this mercenary camp. Very risky, but it doesn't look like they've been rumbled yet. IDD QD already just trying to deal with Gerd. They're not going to get a huge amount of damage. He is just trying to clear the minion wave so he doesn't take too much damage here. And Falstad has currently been left alone in the mid lane. Now Furion will spot this is happening, but it's going to be far too late to interrupt it. We see the Brightwing teleport. She's right here anyway, she can rotate down. But that was mostly to make sure that they were caught out and to see that they are safe when starting this camp, which they are, and they shall do. We have Reciprocate as well for Shad, so even more damage coming out of this Tyrell, so he's able to dive super deep into the center of the enemy team here. And Muradin taking up that Iron Fortress as opposed to the Skullcracker, which was buffed a little bit recently. Zeratul, once again, this is a new build Zeratul. He was recently changed in the most recent patch, where basically he now has Wormhole on level 7, Combo Slash, which is followed through as a level 4 talent, and Vorpal Blade on level 1. So he currently is completely different builds to what we would usually see. But from seeing it in some games earlier, it does look pretty strong, it does look very effective, and of course the heroics have not been changed. Void Prism is still pretty good. Brightwing running that cleanse out so she can get that removal of the CC if ETC did decide to go for Mosh, and of course if any of her allies get rooted by Malfurion or Jaina. Jaina, speaking of which, going for that machine gun build, trying to pew everyone and get some good value out of that. Bound by Shadow, trying to get that corruption spam is the Gul'dan. I have unintentionally rhymed, but Pollock clearing lanes pretty efficiently with that Fell Flame and with Corruption ready. He's able to use his abilities quite a lot here. He's got that Consume Soul so he can get a bit of health back. And seeing as you're basically always near minions on this map, it's pretty easy to do. Gerd's going to be grabbing that altar here, whereas mid lane, Blackjack going to be trying to deny here, but with the sneaky Sport Billy coming from behind, they're going to try and make a play on him. He bulks. He does have Wormhole here. Sport Billy like super aggressive. If Wormhole expires, there's the Polymorph, and he is picked up, and Ziku is going to be moving back in to pick up that altar. Team Liquid this time playing aggressive and able to grab both altars in this phase, and as such is 20 to 32. Only 2 turn-ins so far from Inaequalis here. Team Liquid putting on a fairly strong performance. Jillian being forced to retreat here. Brightwing for the heroic has taken Blink Heal, Sanctification for Toro. We're not going to see all of the aggression. Mighty Gust, Avatar, and Horrify. So expected talents from pretty much everyone here. Only ones we could have really seen an adjustment on was probably Brightwing, if she had wanted to take that Emerald win to try and disengage from Zeratul. But she seems pretty comfortable just blinking to the target. Zeratul is focusing and dropping that Polymorph. So Ziku guarding in those mercenaries as they do some big damage to that bottom lane. Bottom lane is the lane you will often see pressured on this map as they really want to get the push potential going. It's really hard to counter. The second you get those mercenaries, then you can just retake it every time as long as you have the map control, which Team Liquid currently do. So we're going to see a lot of attempted contesting of that, but Inaequalis is having a pretty rough time with this, really struggling to push through. For now, they have their heroics though, so they have the potential for that comeback if they can get some good fights. We do, of course, see the Ring of Frost Void Prism combo. Very effective if you can land it. Twilight Dream added to that could be devastating. Strive for some extra damage. And Stage Dive for the extra glow potential, which currently is not really getting used as EPC is currently not on the map. He's currently with his team. There's the Void. There is the Ring of Frost, but it's interrupted this time. Not able to land. The Void was not cancelled as Zeratul was picked off a little bit there. So unfortunately, we see a 2-for-0 in favor of Team Liquid, putting on a dominant show here, not losing a single member when all but 2 of the heroics from Inaequalis were used. IDDQD taking some damage. No healing available. Prog Rock not complete, and as such goes down. And Team Liquid will guarantee this middle bell tower here. Well, Falstad is continuing to soak the mid lane. He's actually going to make his way up to the top lane before the minions die up there too. So he's going to get the XP from there as well. And as such, gives his team a huge advantage, while Gerd is going to take advantage of the fact they have that bottom bell tower and is going to grab that too. Even more shots on the DB core, down to 15 health. And they now have a set of sappers pushing in the lane. We are going to see Liquid not try and guard them in, though. It's a bit of a risky play at this point. Instead, they're moving up to the top lane, and as such, the boss, if they can get some kills, they might try and make a play at it. For now, though, they're just going for kills. They go on to Imac. Blackjack in full retreat, trying to get himself out of here. Jillian, for the save, coming in, gets the good stun, but there's too much chase potential coming in from Team Liquid, unable to get anything. Zeratul was able to juke and jive his way to freedom, and he is out of there for now. He's hovering around the area because he will have Voipers in 20 seconds. And you can see Jaina coming up for exactly that reason. They don't have Malfurion. He's busy clearing up those sappers, preventing them from heading onto the core. Zeratul changing his mind. Instead, it looks like they may want to try and return the Sport Belly. No, to clear the minion wave here. They can't afford to take that risk. And they can't get the kill. They can't defend this. So they immediately rotate down to bot lane to clear up the bell tower. And this is the point of this map, basically. If you can start snowballing, it's going to be very hard for the enemy team to assail you, basically. You can just keep rotating on the map and grabbing bell towers every single time. Sport Billy actually going to gust this so he can delay this even longer. He's not going to save it. He's just being annoying here. It's 4 versus 2. There's no way. I'm not entirely sure that was worth, but the rest of his team has arrived here. That peekaboo giving some good vision. But basically now what we see is Inaequalis going to have to rotate up to top lane to try and retake back this bell tower, meaning that if they wanted to, Team Liquid could just re-move into mid lane and take this and then rotate to bot lane to take this again. But it looks like instead they're going to grab the sappers again and try and retake bot bell tower. In fact, no, they're just going to grab the mercenaries and let them do that. Oh, no. Make up your mind. Make up your mind. 3 seconds, 2, 1. Go for the mercenary camp. They're just going to let them do it. Unfortunately, that means they may be a little bit late for this ult to spawn. That's how Sport Billy has been left very much alone here. He will see Zeratul get some harass damage, but everyone else is here. That static shield takes a little bit to charge up, so Sport Billy needs to stay on the person who's attacking pretty consistently. Brightwing grabbing that bot ulti there. He's able to do that because of his global, but Gul'dan does not have a global. That's actually strange. It's a little bit further back. In comes Brightwing. They have the vision now. They're able to interrupt Blackjack. Ziggles from below with Shad and Pollock. Pollock finally arriving in time. There's the fear onto Jaina. They take her down. The poison will wipe her off the map. Once again, no grouping to help, and Dartira was not able to do anything. Then silence dropped onto Murin, and Murin just tags through. No follow-up on that. Imac getting chased down by Shad. The boss is aggro. It beats the crap out of Malfurion. And now it's just Jillian. He's able to escape, but there is another altar being taken by Team Liquid. There's only one altar left on the map. Sport Billy flying down to bot lane because this fort is super low. This bell tower is going to be taken down, meaning that if his team is able to capture this bell tower and grab the altar, then that's going to be game. That's going to be 7 shots, and that's what they're going to go for here. Going to try and grab it. Blackjack in position. He's interrupted. He will get out. And looks like, actually 6 shots, sorry, I can't count. 1 health left if they've gone for top, but they didn't have the time for the respawns. Yeah, I can't count. Blackjack in full retreat. Peekaboo did get vision. The Voiprism saved his life this time, but that means he does not have it for interrupting this boss. So we need to see those bell towers being ignored. Inaequalis have to contest this. Blackjack sees it, but it's too late. He can't jump in that alone. He's going to try, but he's not even in the circle. Interrupted by the Holy Ground. Sacrification for good measure. And that is GG. First match goes over to Team Liquid there. Very impressively played. They take game number 1. And we're just going to jump back to this screen here. Eventually, if my change scene button worked. Fantastic, it doesn't. Brill. Well, so far, game number 1 going very, very nicely in Team Liquid's favour. Able to take a lot of control in this one. If the draft is made up quickly, then we'll be jumping into that before I edit this video together. But if the draft takes longer, then I'll edit it because it's the joy of YouTube stuff, where I can just edit this all together. Once again, guys, a reminder about the Nexus challenge. Jump on, get yourself an Overwatch skin, get yourself some heroes in Heroes of the Storm. Someone did a thing on Reddit. I can't remember what the link is. You can probably find it if you search properly. But basically, someone worked out that if you were to spend £30 or €30 on Heroes of the Storm by buying like the starter edition and some bundles, then you basically get like upwards of 20 heroes and a load of mounts and a lot of gold just by playing for like for the price of a full price game. So it is pretty well, actually cheaper than a full price game. Most games have silly prices at the moment, but Heroes is free to play, and you already get like upwards of 10 heroes just for playing for free without spending any gold. No, actually, I think it's about 5. I can't count at all, but overall, it's a pretty good time to start playing Heroes of the Storm. It takes the conventional, it throws it out the window, and builds its own incredible experience. So be sure to head over to the Heroes of the Storm website and get ready to get into that. Now then, looks like... yeah, we have some 2-0s in the brackets, so teams are just making sure that the buys are happening and that everything is good for that. My draft screen is prepared for the second I get the link. Let me find chat on my messages so that I have the draft link. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave this like this. I'm gonna leave this unedited, so to give me good practice for stream. So for those who don't like the delays, sorry, but once again, you're on a VOD. You can skip forward. So best of both worlds for everyone there. All right, so reminder, it is best of threes here, so we are going to be waiting for... it's best of threes all the way... is it all the way through? Best of threes all the way to round 5, so that's all good. Which is semi-finals. So yes, and the finals will not be played. Cool. So yeah, we're just waiting for draft link, and then we will jump back into the next game in our series. After this, like we said, we are going to be going after the Damascus boys to try and check out how Alex the Prodigy's new team is doing. And if we don't get to see them properly during this particular... we're not going to get to see them properly during this particular run, I believe, but I am going to attempt to get some footage of BKB's new team, Excellent Election, who we've seen before, but now the lineup is very, very solid. Looks scary, so I will keep an eye on them. We'll see what we can do. Actually, no, is it Excellent Election? I've completely forgotten. Yeah, there's a lot of teams I want to keep my eyes on. The Lost Lords? Hold up. There's so many teams this time, and a lot of them have just changed their name. Oh, Griefers 2, I'm absolutely loving. That's basically Gamers 2. So we're going to be keeping an eye on them. That's a pretty solid one. Throwing coming, or Incorporated. I don't know which one they intend with that. That one looks very fun. We have a lobby, so I'm going to join onto that. Where are you, Shad? Friends list. Too long. Join. Nice. Alright, lobby has been made. And now we continue to play the waiting game while we await our draft link. And then we will be getting into this game number 2. I'm going to keep an eye on the actual page myself, see if I could spot it first. And I did. So we're just waiting for both teams to ready up. So as such, let me full screen this for you. And we will jump into this particular draft. Second, it is ready. Boom! Excellent. Now, have the team swapped sides? You bet they have. How annoying. Alright, but that's fine. I can do this while we're waiting for the draft to start. So, let me... excuse me. Copy. Ob Studio. Oh my god. So helpful considering the amount of ill-prepared that I actually am. So it's very nice to be able to keep on top of everything by having just a second screen open with what I'm having next on, or what I want to just edit on. It's pretty good. And Team Liquid on the left, I assume, unless they change it and be awkward to me. But it looks like we're fine. Boom! Excellent. Right, so we're just going to be, once again, waiting for that draft to start. It's going to be Cursed Hollow this time. So a very standard map, very solid. We have Liquid ready up. We're waiting for Inaequalis. And then we can get into the game. How very exciting. It's gonna be good. Gonna be good. We have so many good teams in this. Reminder that basically the two teams that went to BlizzCon for EU are already qualified for the league. Team Dignitas and Fnatic are already qualified for this league. So as such, the team that a lot of people considered to be second best in the region for a long time, right behind Dignitas, Team Misfits, do have to go through this qualifier. So we will be hopefully jumping into them as our third game. So day after tomorrow, be sure to jump into that. You're able to get all of these. You'll be able to hopefully see them play, and we'll see how on point they are. Because right now, Team Misfits are going to be wanting to take back their crown of second best or best in Europe, depending on what tournament we are in. from Fnatic, because Fnatic dominant style being shown at BlizzCon. But we're going to be jumping into game number 2, at least the draft of it. Curstolo with Team Liquid getting the first ban here. So let's have a quick look. Valor being banned from Team Liquid already. Valor still quite strong at the moment. She took a little bit of a change to her multi-shot recently, which some people said makes her feel a little bit weaker, but it's very hard to notice. You can still spam it out pretty nicely. It was mostly the cooldown reduction that was removed, which was actually the main reason that Valor was changed the first time in Alpha, where basically she used to have battle momentum, which was pretty good when it came to her multi-shot build, because she could just spam it all the time because her attack speed was really strong. Inaequalis banning out that Falstad. They want to remove that global potential that Liquid had, and of course Sportbilly was just showing absolutely dominantly in that last game there. ETC being picked up by Liquid first, still very strong despite his slight nerfs, still being picked a bit more over Muradin just due to his great versatility. Inaequalis grabbing some global for themselves with that Brightwing, denying that from Geralt, so we're not going to be seeing him stealing that away. Now what are they going to pick with it? Picking a damage dealer maybe, or picking up that Muradin so that it's not banned away from them might work out in their favour. That looks like what they're going to do, so there it is. Muradin being picked up with them, a lot of good potential for that. Muradin still an insanely strong tank, and like we mentioned, he was buffed, whereas ETC was nerfed. So Muradin basically has a second build that's viable now if that's what they want to do. So a tank swap coming in from the teams here. Right now the drafts look almost completely reversed if you exclude the bans. So Team Liquid, considering what the next picks, a range damage dealer would be really solid here as they want to try and get a bit of control, but maybe not show off too much. Tychus being hovered over. Even if it's just a solo tank on the side of Inaequalis, Tychus is still solid. He can get some really good damage and burst through that avatar very quickly. And Malfurion being let through there. Liquid having no issue with that. They miss out on the global, but Malfurion gives you some great cooldown reduction, allows you to spam some abilities with the Innovate, and of course his healing is very on point. The Silence, great counter to hard engage. It's a pretty good pick at the moment. Inaequalis, considering their next pick, going to be a Tyrael for the the next ban. Going to be a Tyrael for the ban. Liquid, as a follow-up to that, I think they expected Inaequalis to maybe try a double tank with the Tychus, but either way, they're now being prevented from it. They ban out the Tastar. That is a very solid ban here, due to the fact that Inaequalis had the makings of a Tracer comp here. With Brightwing being able to teleport onto Tracer, Tastar giving her that extra shielding would have been very difficult for them to deal with, especially as they started off with Tychus. There's very few assassins that actually are able to lock down Tracer that well, that are left for them. So banning that out removes that possibility from Inaequalis unless they want to take a serious risk. Inaequalis bringing up the Li Ming instead. They want to try and get that burst to try and burst through Malfurion's healing, because healing comes over time from Malfurion. So if you can just kill someone quickly, then there's very little that Malfurion can do about it. So Li Ming, very solid choice there. And combined with Brightwing, they have a good amount of CC, Muradin as well. Now, a melee assassin or a second range damage dealer, they want to try and hide their intent here. So it is very much going to be a what can we get away with sneakily. They're down into their bonus time pool. What are they going to go with? Picks here that I think would be pretty strong for them. Personally, yeah, a melee assassin like Thrall would be really good. Thrall with his new Earthquake stuff. Been seeing a little bit of it, so maybe we will see that in this match. The Earthquake can be dropped is pretty nice, and of course it can still run the Sundering if you need the interrupt for something like a Mosh Pit. But the Earthquake, it only does a little bit of damage. It's not been changed that much, but Sundering got nerfed in terms of stun duration. So Thrall, still good sustain, good solo lane. Gonna give them some good value no matter what here. Liquid, they now need a solo laner really to match up with him, so someone like Alarak would be pretty effective at this. Chen, also really good in those terms. Let's see what they go with. Zagara can be used. The good old classic of Zagara versus Thrall, which was basically the majority of early 2015 when it came to drafts. Liquid running down their bonus time pool as well, making that consideration. A solo laner, and probably depending on what their solo laner is, they could probably run a second ranged. If it was Alarak, for example, they could run a second ranged. If it was Zagara, then they probably want something in the melee. See what they go. Zeratul being hovered. We're seeing a lot of Zeratul. Basically, these drafts kind of inverting here. The Tychus was not picked last time, but Liquid, very similar draft to Inaequalis last time. But they picked Jada, then it's basically a mirror minus the Tychus. Let's see what they do go with, though. With that melee, though, Zeratul could be used in a solo lane. He's going to get out-sustained a bit, but he could get some good roaming potential as well. So maybe a solo laner is still on the cards for Liquid, but they can, of course, run someone like Tychus. They could run Malfurion. He could sustain it. It's depending on how they want to play it. Thrall is basically just going to be left in a lane alone. So that's what they want to do with Abathur. Okay, so they're going to counter the strength of Thrall in a lane on his own by basically making sure that they're consistently soaking more. So even if their lanes are pushed up, Abathur will eventually de-push them and will also soak it in. A classic Team Liquid style, bringing out the Abathur there. Abathur onto Zeratul as well, gonna be very strong indeed. That's gonna be exciting to see. And Inaequalis, how are they gonna deal with that? They have the Brightwing, so they once again have that reveal for Zeratul. And they have the Thrall to try and counter him out here. So I would say they need another range damage dealer. Running a second tank is not going to be really that useful here versus Tychus. And no, they're thinking about the Lili to try and counteract the Zeratul damage. That is a very clever drafting choice for them here. If they can drop those blinds, they're going to drop basically all of Liquid's damage potential unless Liquid decide to go for a cleave build. And that is very exciting. Nicely, very interesting choice by Inaequalis. Let's see if that's what they lock in. But it could be good here. They could run the Water Dragon for the extra burst. They could even run Lili with the Jug and Brightwing with the Emerald Wind to try and get that extra damage out. Or they could run them both with damage and just rely on the fact that they both do healing. But already, that's a super interesting pick running down the time pool for 3, and it is going to be Lili. Very cool pick. We saw Dignitas do this. The one game they took off Ballistics at BlizzCon, they ran the Lili into the Illidan, and it was domination. Just genius drafting by Dignitas for that game. Unfortunately, Korea proving to be true strong in the current world champions in the form of Ballistics. Really, really good at the moment. But that Lili showing herself to be useful, having some games every now and again here. So, gonna hit that button and transition back. Boom. So we're pretty excited at the moment for this draft. It does look very, very interesting indeed. I'm really curious who comes out on top. The Polymorph and the Lili does give some really, really decent value when it comes to trying to counteract that Illidan. The Zeratul. If you can drop the blind, drop the Polymorph on him, then he's going to be locked down for a very long time. But the blind is basically going to be for countering Tychus as well. Tychus will shred Muradin if he's left alone. I think Liquid have to kind of divide and conquer here. And also, let's just quickly count. 1, 2, 3, 4 potential interrupts for the Mosh Pit here. So, well, 5 if you count Emerald Wind. So there is potential for the Mosh Pit if ETC is feeling brave. If he wants to try and commit to that, then he could get away with it. We will have to see. He would have to get basically all the people who don't have heroics. He'd have to get Li Ming because hers is short cooldown, Muradin, and Brightwing. But Brightwing, once again, Polymorph's a bit of a longer cooldown, so you can probably get away with missing her if you've seen her pop her Polymorph, say, onto Zeratul, who is going to be targeted. But like I said, I think a cleave build out of this Zeratul may be the viable choice here, just the fact that he is going to be targeted quite a bit. Oh, it's going to be the Zerg Hunter Zeratul here that I'm seeing. That is very exciting. And we're going to be getting into this. Players just locking in and readying up. It's going to be, surprisingly, Shad on the Zeratul and Sport Billy playing the Abathur. A huge change from what we used to see, where basically Shad has always been considered for a very long time to be one of the best Zeratul players ever since Team Liquid swapped their roster around back in WCA times. Shad was basically their new player who they brought in as the Zeratul. As the Abathur. And no one expects it was still the Liquid style that they always consistently ran, but Shad was always considered really scary. He would just get all of the XP the entire game and just get incredible map control. But seeing him running the Zeratul instead here marks a bit of a change for the team, so they are shuffling things up a bit. I'm excited to see how that goes for them. And we'll be getting into the game very soon, guys. Sorry about this. We are just waiting for everyone to lock in on the side of Inaequalis, and then we will be getting into this. I have my game screen set up for you for once we are transitioned. Once again, a reminder about the Nexus challenge that is currently going on in Heroes of the Storm. You can jump into Heroes of the Storm, play with a friend, just play some games, have some fun, try out the game if you haven't given it a chance yet. And then you can earn yourself some heroes and yourself some Overwatch stuff. So if you're a fan of Overwatch, you can get yourself a really, really cool Genji skin, which is the one currently on your screen to your left. Next to in between Kerrigan and Greymane. That is in fact Genji. Yes, I know it looks cool. Looks great, right? But we're gonna get into this. Gerd has asked for a ready. We are waiting for Lily to ready up, and then we will be ready and willing. There's a GLHF, but you still haven't readied up, Lily. Game, please. Lily. Lily, ready up. Have fun. A lot of people from Inaequalis saying GLHF and still not readying up. Lily, come on now. There we go, readied up. So we're going to be getting into this. There's that countdown you can hear. And we're going to be jumping into this game straight away here. Like I said, I am very excited to see how this goes. Team Liquid showing some good control in game number 1 and then immediately just completely swapping out their draft for game number 2. So it's the question is Shad going to go for that auto-attack based build and risk getting countered by Lily and having issues getting any extra damage? Or is he going to go for that cleave build and risk getting burst down? And if he goes for gathering power with that, losing all his stacks after getting polymorphed by Brightwing or anything like that. Either way, let's find out by heading into the game, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in game number 2 of Team Liquid, who are spawning on the left-hand side. And they are currently 1-0 up in the series, playing for Team Liquid. We have Sportbelly on the Abathur, Pollock playing the Tychus, Gerden Herd on the Malfurion, Shad dancing away on the Zeratul, and Zihu on the ETC. Whereas on the right side, they need to win 2 in a row to get through. It is going to be Inaequalis playing for them. It is Darth Tyrael playing the Brightwing. We have Muradin being played by iMac, Blackjack playing the Lily, IDDQD playing the Li Ming, and Thrall going into the solo lane straight away is going to be played by Jillian. I am Tetcher, and I'm bringing you game number 2 of this best of 3 series. And let's immediately have a look at the talents. So starting off here, once again, it is Zeratul with that Vorpal Blade here. So it looks like we made some auto-attack build. You can take the extra cleave radius on level 1 or the teleport cooldown reduction if you wanted to go for a cleave build. So it doesn't look like that's what we're going for, but it can still happen. Neither of those talents are 100% necessary for the build, so they could be getting away with it. Shad is in fact going to be starting bot lane versus Jillian. Dodges out the Wolf, uses that Vorpal Blade to go in and immediately trades very positively with Jillian. Shad with that Abathur on his head from Sportbelly, able to get some huge value here. And is just going once again for Jillian. Fountain has already been popped, and Jillian just getting absolutely outrated here for the moment. Block Body coming in from ETC, who is very outnumbered here, but it's just playing very far back. Just soaking the XP, not putting himself at risk. He knows his towers are going to take damage, he knows his towers are going to lose ammo, but he's making sure that he doesn't die and stop soaking and lose the XP soak for his team here. Pollock and Gerd, on the other hand, were pushing up quite nicely, but Ivac has just rotated up here, and as such this push will be slowed down a significant amount. Zeratul got massively outtraded by Jillian somehow. Not entirely sure, I suspect a root was landed. But either way, be careful. So we do see Li Ming starting off with that Astral Presence here. So gonna try and get, not going for the globes here. Doesn't think he's gonna be able to get a huge amount. Shad doesn't get rooted. They're very close though. Turns on to Jillian. There's a bit of dueling going on. Uses the Vorpal Blade, goes in, gets hit by tower. Oh, both players super low, even with the Abathur. Zeratul and Thrall traded very evenly. Very close matchup between these two heroes at the moment. Gonna be good. And Shad, in fact, gonna use this opportunity to bead back, letting that Abathur Locust push it up, whereas Jillian immediately gonna rotate up, letting Lily soak the lane, while he goes for the mercenary camps, getting as much control of that as he can. So seeing Pollock clear it up the lanes. Once again with Gerd. Gerd did take that Moonbird, so he's gonna be able to wipe out that minion wave very quickly. Shad rotating around, he sees IDDQD, but is deciding by the looks of it not to go all in. Ziku looking for an opportunity to stun, gets the stun, in comes Shad straight away, does not have Abathur with him, but they get the kill. Abathur jumping in just in time before the final hit there, and they're able to grab that kill just in time for iMac and Thrall to finish grabbing that Merc Camp. Thrall went back in time. Abathur setting up some good mind control here of this area. Zeratul and Abathur set up nicely to deny this. Doesn't look like Lily's even going to try and contest it, and Thrall just heading back to his lane. So we will see Team Liquid grab this first tribute of the game and begin to get some control. And Zeratul is in fact going for an auto-attack build, combo slash coming out here, so getting that little bit of extra auto-attack damage. The follow through basically He gets on level 4. Mass Vortex and Gale Force coming into Lily, so it is a damage Lily build. Here they come onto Blackjack and immediately miss her. She drops the blind. Zeratul very nearly getting the kill anyway though, but Blackjack barely stays alive there. Very, very nice. Keeping herself sustained here. Gerd still pushing up this lane, but IDDQD is going to push back Gerd pretty nicely here, just due to the sheer amount of potential damage she can offer. Gerd, however, can clear the lane from pretty far away and can obviously scout out the pushes with his Moonburn, with his Moonfire here. Fact that alludes to raise the extra range he gets on the later levels. Bolek clearing the lane at the moment, giving to those mercenaries that Thrall was able to grab earlier with the help of Muradin, and Abathur still putting mines everywhere. He's got for a mine built here, the extra damage and the extra charges here, so he is just setting up party bushes here with mines. Oh, Ibak has been found here. Shad takes it all to the face though with a Triumph Fatal, for example, as well, so that cooldown is reduced. So he is being forced to back up here. Muradin, I don't know if he ran through any of those mines. It looks like a couple are gone. I think they just expired though. Tribute spawning up in this upper area. Does this mean the roll will rotate for once here and run through those mines? There's so many here. Oh, thinking about it. Pollock. Oh, he ran for a couple. That'll do. And immediately Pollock all into the root lands though. And Jillian is able to escape. Ampha setting up some more mines here to try and cut off his escape, but it's too late here. Instead, we're going to drop up to the tribute fight happening up here. IMAX trying to cause some disruption in the backline. Drops the stone to Zeratul, who's immediately cleansed. But IDDQD going to drop some serious harass. That grenade from Tigers though, getting some serious damage and value. Shad going in, drops some huge damage off the Dark Hero. Once again though, IMAX causing the disruption. Gets stunned up though, where Tigers shreds IMAX to pieces. However, the tribute is picked up by Darth Tyrael, able to grab some good control there and even up the tribute count. In the meantime, though, Abathur has been soaking with his body here, getting his team even further ahead in the XP count. You can see they're just creeping ahead here with this, and that's going to start becoming a serious problem. But that's going to be a serious problem for Inaequalis. They need to stop letting that happen. An orb build is what is happening for Li Ning right now. Z's Vengeance coming out, so she's going to be spamming that out. That's a good price. We are seeing Liquid group up together, so that's very nice. And obviously, there's a good chance of hitting Zeratul if you're lucky here. Wormhole coming out for Zeratul. In fact, he wants to poke in and poke out again. See if he's able to get efficiency with that. Perfect Storm and Thunderburn once again with the Muradin going with the old style of build here, just swapping out that third wind for the Perfect Storm. We're seeing those fairly interchangeable. We see a bit of block every now and again. Muradin with a very solid level 1 tier, able to swap out talents whenever he needs them. Brightwing with the lightning, Lily with the Lightning Serpent, so a very damage heavy build for Lily here. Brightwing not picking the Peekaboo, instead going for the Manic Pixie, so getting some extra healing for her team, giving them more sustain despite already having a second healer, although that healer is showing more damage. So instead, not going to be using that to try and catch the Illidale, try and give them the vision for that. Instead, they're basically relying on Li Ming for that. Li Ming just dropping an orb and hoping the explosion hits it. Doesn't look like Inaequalis is going to try and make any kind of play here, or Muradin would have already rotated up. They're already pretty much too late to rotate. And that tribute is so far on the side of Team Liquid, it's not worth the risk. IDQD, found by Shad, in comes Pollock, trying to get the burst, the grenade gets the kill before Brightwing is able to teleport in and drop any kind of protection. Nice kill by Team Liquid here, kill count 3-0 currently. That body block though, Blackjack getting away. But those were some incredible plays by Team Liquid, who now have their heroics. We have Ultimate Evolution, the Stage Dive, Void Prism, Twilight Dream. Tyker's yet to pick. Both would be viable here. Personally, I think the Odin would be a little bit better, just so they have a bit more ability power damage to get past that blind, and in fact that is what they do. Laser can be blinded and stop doing damage. So instead, Team Liquid grabbing this boss, just getting a huge amount of extra control, dropping the root to try and make sure that no one comes to interrupt them. We are seeing heroes on the way down, but they're going to be too late. They have their heroics too, though. It is going to be Earthquake, but they're not going to be able to, even if they were to raid here, they would not get on the circle. IMAX through some of the rotation. Here comes the Stage Dive, though, for the Void Prism. It drops out. Here comes the Earthquake. Stun does land. No, stop by the through. IDQD, though, is deleted. The Water Dragon does nothing but slow. And the slows from the Earthquake and the Water Dragon combined are enough to allow the last two remaining members, other than Muradin, of Inaequalis to escape. But that's going to allow a Tribute to go over to Team Liquid, and they were able to grab the 2 kills there. The Odin getting some good damage out here. And this is going to be a curse for Team Liquid. They're going to go straight onto Brightwing. Everyone is interrupted again by the face melt here. and a huge value coming out of Team Liquid here. Let's talk about some of the other heroics here, though, from Inaequalis. We saw a couple, but it's Haymaker coming from Muradin, going for that damage. Water Dragon, like we said before, Disintegrate, Emerald Wind, and the Earthquake. So, really interesting heroics coming in here from them. But if they can get that burst, then that's going to be huge value here. For now, IMAC just trying to burst down this boss on his own here. He doesn't have Sledgehammer or anything like that. He's purely just dropping his abilities on it to do the extra damage. In the meantime, the rest of his team is definitely trying to just make Team Liquid go away. They don't want to buy anything. Sir, please stop cold calling our home. But Team Liquid pulling back, not wanting to get themselves caught out of position. They've already got a tower and weakened a second. They don't want to get caught out necessarily, and their minions were able to grab top lane. Boss was able to grab the bottom fort, and is going to continue pushing in here, wipes out the minions with that root. But overall, Team Liquid in great control, and they can use the last bit of their curse time to start on this boss again, because there's still some minion clear, there's still some wave clear that has to be done here. Dark Tyrael though, gonna scout this out, but he is revealed by the minions, so they know it's happening, but they can't do anything about it once again. Muradin's not in position, Thrall is not in position, so they just have to let this one go too. And Team Liquid, they also did have the Encore from ETC. They didn't have the face melt, so they weren't able to get the extra slow out of it, but they are still able to guarantee that they had Void Prism, they had Face Melt, they were in a pretty good position. We do have Spray and Pray as well, so Tiger's getting a bit of ability power damage once again, taking into account that Leedy's got a lot of blinds here, so dropping some extra stuff for ability power is good. So much transference coming out of Brightwing, giving Shad some sustain. He can the cooldown reduction level 1, remember, so you have to be careful of that. But Shad drops him down to the double Shad, in fact. We see the clone. Sorry, yeah, that was Shad, in fact, on the double Shad. Shad and Abashad coming in and doing a lot of damage onto everyone here, putting off the Li Ming boss. Now rooting onto IMAC, but not able to get the kill. Here comes the stage dive onto Dark Tyrael. Shad already on him. The Earthquake is dropped to try to prevent the chase. Shad turning in with the Warping Blade. He's able to get the kill. Now they're trying to turn onto the roll here. Didion able to stay a little bit. In comes the Water Dragon. Lands onto ETC, but ETC just tanks straight through there when they're hitting from Gerdenshed. They get the keep, but the boss is now down. They're going to get out of here. They lost the Ultimate Evolutions, but Sportbilly is obviously still alive in terms of his body. So overall, they haven't lost anything. They lost a bit of XP, and they were able to get a keep. So Team Liquid dominantly ahead right now in this game, putting on a great show. And as such, let's have a look at some of their talents as they have just hit level 16. We do see the Sentence to Death coming in from Zeratul, so he can drop that W, and if he hits an enemy with that W, he can drop the extra damage. So it's basically going to be Blink WQ is the combo. Hopefully getting an auto attack in between all of them. We can see there a huge burst coming in onto Jillian. Showstopper on ETC getting the extra charge. Zeratul also did take Spell Shield, wants a little bit of extra tankiness for Billy. The clone of Zeratul here getting some harass. Looks like he will be kicked off here actually, so a bit of XP going over to Inaequalis. We have armor-piercing rounds, once again more ability damage coming in here, taking into account that there's so much blinding happening from the side of Inaequalis. The Mine slowing down the rotation, but they're still not in time to grab that Burst grab. But Inaequalis super greedy here without the level 30, only with the level 30s, no 60s, the Void Prism annihilates Muradin here. Stage Dive comes in comes the Earthquake, then trying to take down Malfurion here. He drops the blind, and Gerd getting focused out, but it's saved by Shad. Gerd staying alive, Zika with the amazing body box here, and that is a 4-for-0 coming in. Maybe a 5-for-0. Blackjack's there. They decide against it. Zika was thinking about interrupting the pool. I think he just didn't see him there. But overall, Team Liquid in dominant fashion, moving into the core. 2 and a bit members here with the Abathur. Now going to be the full 5 members. Abathur even got the Ultimate Evolution. And the... what do? There it is, I was about to say, it's just not showing up for some reason. But either way, Muradin and Lili not going to be able to save this. That is going to be GG. And Team Liquid will take this series 2-0 and will move on to the next round. Very nicely played and very convincing. A lot of people are going to be expecting Team Liquid to make it through this. But it'll be up to us to see if they're able to make it into the next, into the league. We are expecting them, but upsets can happen. There's a lot of stacked teams in this bracket that we will be keeping an eye on. For now, though, for use on the YouTubes, is going to be it for this particular video. Tomorrow, we're hopefully going to be jumping into Damascus Boys. Let me check, see if they're in game. No, they're in Hero League. So yeah, we're going to be jumping into Damascus Boys next. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. Tomorrow's video will be Damascus Boys versus... Let's see if their opponent's been decided yet. Because they had a free win at the start. Bracket. Refresh the bracket. And let's have a look. Okay. No, currently it is 1-0 to the Unhallowed versus EDM when they're playing the Damascus Boys. So we'll be jumping into that game as game number two versus either the Unhallowed or EDM, depending on which one wins. At the moment, it's looking like the Unhallowed. So guys, once again, hope you all enjoyed. Be sure to pop back tomorrow for some broadcasting. Normal videos will, of course, be continuing. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.